Hi, today I'm going to talk about work-life balance and how it doesn't actually exist. My name is Marie Elizabeth Mali, and I'm a relationship artist. I help busy creatives and entrepreneurs get as excited about their relationships as they are about their work and create the optimum work-life integration, as I call it, that really feeds both their success at work and their success at home. I think it's great that we're having this ongoing conversation about work-life balance. I think it's important because the pace of our lives has outstripped our bodies and emotional capacity to keep up. So we have this huge epidemic of anxiety, of stress, of exhaustion, adrenal exhaustion, overwhelm. So many people go through this, especially entrepreneurs. And then our relationships suffer, and our home life suffers, and our work suffers, and everything, and we suffer. In Chinese medicine, I have a background in Chinese medicine. I practiced acupuncture for many years. And in Chinese medicine, one of the things that struck me the most as we were studying the various meridians and really the patterns of ill health, but we would talk about this idea of balance. In the ancient texts, it is said that the only time, even though you're constantly working toward balance, if it's too hot, you bring a little cool in. If it's too damp, you dry things. If it's too stuck, you move. If there's a deficiency, if there isn't enough energy or blood or yin, yang, etc. So even though you're constantly working toward balance, you never actually reach it. And the only moment you reach perfect balance is right before you die. And that just really stuck with me. I learned that at acupuncture school, and I gave up this idea from then on of ever perfectly reaching some kind of mythic state of balance that would continue forever. And then this work-life balance thing began in the culture, and so I've been thinking a lot about it. And I wrote an article about it, which I'm going to put a link to in the comments. I like to talk about work-life integration instead, because balance to me feels like you're trying to live your life in this very narrow, perfect spot. Like at any moment you may fall out of balance. Oh no. And it just feels like another excuse to feel wrong about how you're doing stuff. Whereas to me, integration allows for there being multiple aspects of a life. You have your work, you have your personal health, you have your how you relate to yourself, you have your relationships, you have your family, you have your finances. You have all these different aspects that need to come into some kind of integration, i.e. wholeness, for you to live a whole and successful life. When you talk about integration, for me, the difference between integration and balance is like trying to live on a balance beam like a gymnast. You have a very narrow, you have 4 inches to flip and turn and do all these fancy things in your life, but 4 inches and you'll fall off. That's what balance feels like to me. Whereas integration feels like the floor exercise. You have music and you integrate dance and gymnastics and athletic skill, but also musicality and expression, and you have this big mat to roam around. That's what work-life integration feels like to me. And so I offer this reframe of the notion of balance to really consider integration, to consider how all these pieces of your life, how do they fit together? If I were to access my creativity, if I were to access spaciousness, if I were to access curiosity, like how on earth am I gonna make these things work together? Those are all resourceful and enhancing places to begin this inquiry. Creativity, spaciousness, curiosity versus, oh my God, how am I gonna balance my life? It's so terrible. I'm so out of balance. I'm doing it wrong. There's something wrong with me. But there's just an inherent tightness in the concept of balance, an inherent limitation, like a 4-inch beam. And any deviation on one side or the other means you fall and break your ankle or wrench your arm out of the socket. That's just not a place I want to live. And I don't think it's a place that you want to live either, because it's good to have room. It's good to examine how to improve the things in our lives that are not quite the way we want them from a beginning place of wholeness and integration. So that's today's video. Again, I'm Marie Elizabeth Mali, your relationship artist. I work with creatives and entrepreneurs to help them integrate their relationships and their work in a way that feels good to everybody. Again, I wrote this new article. It's on Medium. I'll put the link below. Give it a read, share it, and stick around, watch more videos. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.